I would always suggest for the first check, it is always best to go with an angel investor. So you're trying to find an individual who's willing to back you, because that says a lot about the initial backing. More than, I mean, it's always best if an individual backs you first, because the kind of process that is required for a VC to fund, and then the funds to go through and funds to come in, and then the compliances after that, and then the whole processes after that is quite challenging and requires some kind of nurturing. So it's always best to work with an angel investor first, um, because if you do something wrong, there's just an individual who can help you and guide you as well at the same time.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the August edition of August Spotlight series on behalf of Tracxn, where we invite various startup co-founders to share their journey, some sort of insights and advice to the youngsters who have startup dreams. Well, today with me is Mr. Abhit Kumar, who is the founder of Integra Robotics. Hi Abhit, how are you doing today?
I'm good, Subhayan. Yeah. How are you?
Awesome. Doing great as well. First of all, let me welcome you on behalf of the entire Traction family, and thanks for making some time out of your busy schedule.
Thanks for
Uh,
having me.
Great. My name is Supayan Das Gupta, and I'm heading the startup vertical over here. Now, let's get started with this podcast. To start with, Abhit, we would love to understand your backstory, your background, and what was the problem statement which made you start your company, which is Integra Robotics. Let's start with
Right.
that.
Right. So actually, we are a 9-year-old company now, like almost a decade. We started with the name of Social Hardware. So Integra Robotics is a fairly a new brand pivot, I would say, more than anything else. Um, but when we started Social Hardware, so probably started in 2017, and in 2016, I was like in a final year of my college. I'm from a biomedical engineering background and had some interest towards human engineering and robotics, and how the combination of two would work well. And then we got an opportunity, or I got an opportunity to come to Bangalore from Delhi, to participate in a collab IISc ICRC project. ICRC is a Red Cross Committee, IISc is Indian Institute of Science. The project which is towards building products or assistive devices for people with amputation cases. And that was the problem statement, and it was a good problem statement to have, because it gave me a platform to what we are today. So that's when I also met my co-founder Cameron. He's a British national. Also got invited to the same program. We met, collaborated well, studied well actually, and then we started a journey of building prosthetic arms or bionic arms for people with amputation cases. So like people who do not have upper arm, basically below elbow, and building prosthetic arms or bionic arms or electric powered prosthetic arms for them. So yeah, from there on, I think we really liked the problem statement, and we felt that this is something that we really want to get into, and that's where the company name came into the picture. The Social Hardware. The idea was to build hardware products for social impact, and yeah, we did that for the first 5 years. We partnered with Cadbury's as well for one of their projects, uh, one of their marketing projects in 2022. We were partners with Autodesk. We still partner with Autodesk ecosystem as well, which is a software platform, which is used for designing of software, which is used for designing of hardware products. And when we partnered with Rocky, it gained good 27 million views. We got in touch with a lot of nonprofits. We sold around 150 units of bionic arms, made good decent amount of revenue, but we also realized that this is not a market where we'll be able to scale much, because of a smaller size of the market. And that's where whatever the learning of product development, deployment, customer support, it all sort of built for the like from 2017 to 2022. And we realized that we have to take a pivot, and we took a pivot to deep tech robotics, which was a natural extension to what we were doing. So whatever learnings we had in building of prosthetic arms or bionic arms, was something that we captured in 2023, and then we moved to a much more deeper tech, uh, and specifically in the field of robotics. And that's where we were sort of we went ahead, and from there on, I think we've now in a stage where we've already achieved product market fit. We're deploying the products in industry and defense ecosystem, and yeah, we're moving ahead and strong. And that's what the Integra Robotics now represents, which is basically integration of robotics ecosystem. That's what we represent as well. The idea was to build a robotics product across different industries in a general purpose robotic system, and help out the ecosystem and keep the base ethos same, like protecting and enhancing lives of people who are involved in the industry or in defense. And that's what. So earlier, when we were building prosthetics, the idea was to provide a solution after the casualty has happened. Here, we are basically providing a solution to not so that the casualty doesn't happen. So that's the difference that we've basically come into the picture.
Got it. Quite an interesting journey, I would say, in the last 8 to 9 years, right? Tell me this, if you can remember some of your, when you started 8, 9 years back, uh, a very important challenge, which was very difficult to sort out as far as the team was concerned. If you remember one of those challenges, would you like to share with us?
Sure. I mean, team building has always been hard. I mean, even today, it's quite hard because robotics market is a very niche market. And now you have the programs being run in universities and colleges, which is the new batches are now coming. They're now coming. So the youngsters who are just passing out of colleges from the batches of 24 to 26 is the batches which understand the field of robotics. The same thing was the case when we were doing in 2017 as well. Because we don't get I mean, at that point of time, industrial design, or like design engineering was concepts, was not something that but was really there and thereabout. It's something that grew over the period of time. But yeah, at that point of time, we face a challenge of hiring, definitely. So from starting, what we've done is we've always tried to scout talents, even if they don't have experience, if they have talent. Um, we'd like to have them on board, and that's the approach that we had initially as well. At that point of time, we had a very small team. Obviously, we had like a 3 4 people team itself, and a lot of work was happening with the help of freelancers and the community, or the design development community that was there. But yeah, hiring has always been a challenge. But as I said, I mean, it was always about scouting talent, who are just passed out of college, understands what they're doing, and have some sort of skills, like roughly around 50 to 60% of skills there. And then we sort of try to grow with them at the same time. So there was always, I mean, there were always room for mistakes for them, and that's the approach that we have kept today as well. Try to back on hiring young talents and scout them out, and try to go with our instincts that they might be the best fit for us. And most often than not, that has worked well with us.
Got it. Got it. So roughly around how many years it took you to realize that, yes, this is the team which I always wanted?
I mean, it's an ever growing. Every year, there's a different thought process that comes in. But yeah, I think it took me with 2 3 years. So when we took a pivot into deep tech robotics, at that point of time, we've already spent 4 5 years, right, in the robotics. I mean, in the entrepreneurship ecosystem or in the startup ecosystem. So we knew exactly what were the areas in which we wanted personalized to be. So we were able to capture that very quickly. So obviously, whatever the initial hardships we had, we were able to sort of solve by that time. So yeah, from 2023 onwards, it's been a very specific goal that we've had in terms of hiring.
Got it. Anything specific that you are most excited about for the next 12 months down the line?
Um, about us, I mean, for us,
Yeah. About the product, about your
yeah,
customers. Yeah.
yeah, sure. I mean, I think so. As I said, in this financial year, we basically moved away, I mean, out of the product market fit phase. So we are now looking to scale our ecosystem of products or the categories of products that we have built, which is obviously ranging from industrial automation to defense ecosystem. So that is the objective for us to scale up across the different categories of products that we have and different SKUs that we have built. At the same time, I think fundraising is something that we are obviously going ahead with. We've just closed a pre-series A round in the month of May. We are now preparing ourselves to go for a series A round as well. the idea for us with the pre-series A round was basically to create a boost for us to build the categories, stabilize the categories, and start deployment. And with the Series A, the goal would be very simple to scale up. So I'm now looking to like doing a decent amount of business and growing my revenue arc as well as we go ahead. But yeah, I mean, securing at least good 20 to 30 customers across different categories of the product is the objective that we have in the next 12 to 15 months. We are launching a couple of new categories of our product as well, or new SKUs of our products as well. So that is something that we're going to unveil very soon. So yeah, I think those are the areas in which we are looking at this point of time.
Interesting. Since you spoke about fundraising, uh, let me know, as a founder yourself, what is what do you feel is the right approach in terms of fundraising as far as the why, when, and where to start? Because quite often I've seen that a lot of early stage startups or co-founders get little lost into the journey while they think about fundraising for the first time, right? You being part of the ecosystem for the last 9 years, heading your own company, right? What is your psychology as far as if you can answer the why, when, and where to start the fundraising journey?
I think it depends on the category of product that you're building, like in the ecosystem, what kind of tech you're building. Either you're a deep tech, you're a SaaS, you're a frontier tech, or you're a defense tech, or you're a prop tech. There are multiple forms of tech-based kind of ecosystem that has been created, and according to those ecosystem, you have the VC ecosystem as well. The categories, the mandates that the VC ecosystem has brought in, that they are going to fund three, four categories. Firstly, you have to look at that. So what you're building and what are the kind of VCs that are there in that ecosystem. I would always suggest for the first check, it is always best to go with an angel investor. So you're trying to find an individual who's willing to back you because that says a lot about the initial backing. More than, I mean, it's always best if an individual backs you first because the kind of process that is required for a VC to fund and then the funds to go through and funds to come in, and then the compliances after that, and then the whole processes after that is quite challenging and requires some kind of nurturing. So it's always best to work with an angel investor first, um, because if you do something wrong, there's just an individual who can help you and guide you as well at the same time. And at the same time, you don't have, I mean, you definitely have a liability of the funds that you've taken from the angel investor, but you won't have the liability of compliances on a larger scale, on and multiple people coming at you, and there's a multiple things that happens in the VC ecosystem when you get it funded from a VC fund. But as an individual, I mean, you can still get the person to guide you, mentor you. So that comes into the picture. I think that is something that is very important, and I think it's always best to go for an angel investor at the first check that you get in your company, and understand at the same time what is the vertical you're building in, and what are the kind of investors that are available in those verticals. So that is something that is extremely important for understanding.
Understood. Now, in your domain, robotics, uh, during the last 6, 7 years or so, what was your approach in identifying the, competitor in your segment, whether it's from India or from abroad? I'm sure you would have done some sort of benchmarking, right,
Mm.
here and there, right? What was your approach? If you can just tell us a bit about the benchmarking process, about your competition in the market.
Right. I think, see, very honestly, I mean, the hardware ecosystem or the deep tech ecosystem is sort of evolving now in India, but it's something that has already evolved in the US market or in the Europe market, or in the Chinese market per se as well. So you already are exposed with a lot of companies who are building tech in the fields which you are intending to build as well. So we used to identify companies who are basically building in our field and how they're building it, what stage they are building it, and what kind of help that we can get from those companies. So a couple of companies, we've reached out to them to understand, um, like, this is what we are doing. Can you help us out with XYZ thing or ABC things? And then they reach out to us and they're saying that, okay, this can be done, or we can provide you this. So that was those kind of an understanding when we got ourselves into. That's where we understood that, okay, I mean, these are the kind of companies we want to be, or like these are the companies that are already doing this kind of work, and this is the process of this is the process that they are following. So it gave you a very good understanding and a good picture about how the ecosystem is working and how the product building is happening and all that. But saying that the ecosystem that is there in the US, Europe, or China is very different to Indian ecosystem. So it's not necessarily that whatever they did, like whatever they did, so they might get the fund raise done just purely on the design, right, on the blueprint. That is not the case in in the Indian ecosystem. So yeah, that's the sort of thing. But we took a lot of positives from the companies that are built already and how they're building the products, how what kind of supply chain that they're trying to get off, and also what kind of investors they're targeting, and also at the same time how the whole development to deployment cycle looks like for them. So that was the kind of research we've done, and then we've sort of benchmarked few companies um, for us to understand better and then sort of follow that.
Quite interesting to know this. So just moving on now, let's talk a bit about AI and its impact. Like over the last 3, 4 years, we have seen how AI has impacted everyone's, ecosystem, right? Talking about your own company, how did you leverage AI as far as your operational stuff is concerned? Tell us about that.
See, very honestly, a lot of my team members use a lot of tools that is available right now, be it tools available from Anthropic or ChatGPT or some or all of these. But the way we are looking at it is like it provides you the base and the foundation. What we've also understood is that still till today, you cannot run your operations completely through AI. And if you're trying to build everything through AI, it's not going to work. What we are trying to do is the way we operate is we just try to find bottlenecks. So wherever we are stuck, then we try to understand um, alternatives or the methods that we can be used. Or if we have to build a large calculation, that's where we try to use it. And then we want to sort of some pictorial representation. That's when we use AI for our stuff. So that's one way on operationally how we use it. On the design level, I mean, there are a lot of AI tools already integrated in the software that we use. So that's where we leverage AI there in terms of ensuring that the design of the product has lighter weight, it uses less time to manufacture. All of these kind of ideas and the process is something that we leverage through AI. And so those are the areas in which we've actively used AI as of now. Obviously, when we are building vision intelligence system for industrial automation or for defense, that's where we are definitely incorporating a lot of machine learning operations. So AI is like a broad term, but machine learning is something that we're definitely incorporating in terms of training our robotic systems on different kind of operations and different kind of methods so that we can make it autonomous. So that's how we are leveraging the whole ecosystem of AI.
Very interesting. Now, any specific piece of advice, if you could give to somebody who is looking for starting something on their own, right? He has just a concept in the mind, right? Uh, what can be classified as the do's and don'ts for that early starters? What do you feel? How should we address that person's mindset?
I mean, you need to have appetite. I would say that you need to basically. I mean, it's an extremely tough process. I mean, I'm there in the last 10 years, right? I've basically burned through my twenties completely. I'm into my thirties now, so it's an extremely tedious and a slow process. It's a slow burn. Nothing will happen immediately. If it happens, then you have to be worried about it because you've not had the appetite of building and that particular way. So I think for first time founders or first time entrepreneurs, I think it would be best for them to, I think, be part of accelerator programs, workshops, community programs. There are a lot of accelerator programs now for startups. There are a lot of incubators now, very good legit incubators where you can be part of it. Not all incubators, again, not all incubators are good, but some of the incubators are very good. Accelerator programs, which are like 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, be a part of it, be part of workshops. That will expose you to a network and a community of people who are building. And when you talk, it sort of grows on you. And that's when you sort of build the zeal of, yes, I want to do this. But if you're in isolation, if you're in silo, then you're saying that, okay, I have a product or I have a concept, it's a novel and I want to go ahead with it, it might not work because you've not exposed yourself to a community who can say no to it. So that is what the first thing should be part of community accelerator programs, incubators, and so that sort of your thought process grows.
Interesting. Anyone who will be watching this video later, especially someone who has a dreams of his own startup, will be taking this insight forward, right? Uh, coming back to my last question for today for you. Since you have been, onboarded to Tracxn very recently, right?
Mhm.
How how do you intend to use this platform? And in terms of which other use cases? I know you have spoken about fundraising. You have been recently funded, right? Talking about any other use cases, we would love to understand how you're going to leverage the platform.
I think it just get the exposure of more international companies who are in my field is something that I want to look at it. The categories that have been built across robotics, because there are multiple categories of robotics that has been built. So that is something I want to look at it. I think a lot I want to look at how the other companies faring and how they're performing as well. And because you get a lot of insights and updates and newsletters and all these things about any company that are performing further. So that is something that I'd be interested to look at. So those are the areas where I'm just trying to put forward. And also, I think with Integra being onboarded on Tracxn, that gives us a very good sort of reach and SEO as well. So I think that is something that I'm definitely looking to as well, and how I can capitalize on that as well. So those are the areas that I'm specifically that's where my eyes are.
Got it. So basically, to summarize, it's more of a sectorial research and competitor analysis that you'll
Yeah,
be looking
exactly.
forward for.
Yeah.
Great, wonderful. Well, that's it from my side of it. I think it was wonderful talking to you today, right? For
Thank
sure,
you.
we will come back to you towards the end of 2027, 1 year down the line,
Yeah.
right, to cover up some more success stories coming up from your
Sure.
startup, right?
Sure.
I wish you all the very best, and thank you so much for giving us this opportunity to talk to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.